To get a really cold winter down here, things sometimes have to heat up way above us, in the stratosphere. It sounds strange, but the key to some of our chilliest days actually starts with a sudden burst of warmth high above the weather we experience on the ground. The stratosphere sits miles above our heads, far above the clouds and weather we see every day. It's a layer of the atmosphere that most of us never think about, but it plays a crucial role in shaping the seasons and the weather we feel. Scientists watch for sudden stratospheric warming, or SSW, a rapid temperature spike over the polar regions. These events are rare, but when they happen, they can set off a chain reaction that changes the course of winter for millions of people. You won't feel this warming, but it can flip our winter weather upside down. The air above us is always moving, and sometimes, what happens far overhead can have dramatic effects on the ground below. Imagine a spinning top, stable when undisturbed, but a nudge makes it wobble and tip. That's what SSW does to our weather patterns. It disrupts the balance, sending ripples through the atmosphere that can travel thousands of miles. Normally, the coldest air stays locked at the North Pole. This icy air is held in place by strong winds circling the pole, forming what's known as the Polar Vortex. SSW disrupts this, sending frigid air south. When the polar vortex weakens, it can spill out, unleashing Arctic blasts across North America, Europe, and Asia. This is one of the most powerful links between the stratosphere and the blizzards we get on the ground. A single event high above can mean weeks of snow, ice, and bone-chilling temperatures for millions. So, when meteorologists mention a warming event, it's not a sign of spring, it's a warning for harsher winter ahead. These alerts help us get ready for what's coming, even if it seems counterintuitive at first. The polar vortex, winter's big boss, gets disrupted by SSW, which can mean a brutally cold and snowy season. The effects can last for weeks, making winter feel longer and more intense. As we head into winter 2025-2026, signs point to a possible SSW event, hinting at a severe season. Meteorologists are watching closely, using advanced models to predict what might unfold. Understanding this process helps us prepare, not panic. By staying informed, we can take steps to protect our homes, our families, and ourselves from the worst of winter's fury. By knowing what's happening up there, we can plan to stay warm and safe down here. Preparation is key, and knowledge is our best defense against the cold. Science connects the sky to our daily lives in surprising ways. The more we learn about the atmosphere, the better we can adapt to its changes. And in this case, it's the science of cold. So next time you hear about a sudden warming in the sky, remember, it might just be the start of winter's wildest ride. Let's talk about the polar vortex. Not a storm, but a massive spinning bowl of cold air that sits high above the poles, shaping the weather for much of the northern hemisphere. It's not a single event, but a persistent feature of our atmosphere, always present, even if we don't always notice it. The vortex is strongest in winter, when the North Pole is plunged into darkness for months on end. With no sunlight to warm the region, the air above the pole becomes extremely cold, creating a powerful circulation that spins like a top. Think of it as an invisible river of wind flowing high in the stratosphere, circling the pole at incredible speeds. This river acts as a barrier, keeping the coldest air bottled up in the Arctic. When the vortex is strong and stable, it locks the frigid air up north, leading to milder, more predictable winters for places like the US, Canada, and much of Europe. The cold stays where it belongs, and winter weather is less extreme. But when the vortex weakens, it can wobble, stretch, or even split apart. This allows chunks of Arctic air to break free and plunge southward, bringing sudden blasts of cold to regions that aren't prepared for it. That's when you hear polar vortex in the news or weather forecast. It's not the vortex itself moving south, but rather the icy air escaping its grip and sweeping into lower latitudes, catching many off guard. The strength and stability of the vortex decide whether we get a calm, gentle winter or a season filled with wild swings. One week mild, the next gripped by a deep freeze. This year, scientists are watching for a possible sudden stratospheric warming, or SSW, which can disrupt the vortex and make it wobble more than usual, increasing the risk of cold air outbreaks. That means there's a greater chance for extreme cold and snow to reach places that rarely see such harsh winter weather, surprising communities and straining infrastructure. The polar vortex is a constant presence, but its stability, or lack of it, is what truly shapes our winter, influencing everything from snowfall to temperature swings. When the vortex is disrupted, the deep freeze can come knocking at our door, sometimes with little warning. That's why meteorologists are keeping a close eye on the vortex this season. Because its next move could decide whether we bundle up for a mild winter or brace ourselves for a wild ride. With a wobbly polar vortex, the jet stream becomes the next key player. The jet stream is a fast-flowing river of air, separating cold polar air from warmer southern air. When the vortex is strong, the jet stream is straight and keeps cold air locked up north. But a weakened vortex makes the jet stream wavy, with deep dips and high ridges. These dips pull Arctic air south, causing record cold in places like Texas or Florida. Meanwhile, ridges push warm air north, making Alaska or Greenland unusually mild. The result? Weather extremes, deep freezes in some areas, warmth in others. This wavy jet stream will define our winter, delivering blasts of Arctic air far from home. It's not just cold seeping south, it's being pulled down by the atmosphere's wild ride. Get ready for a season of surprises. Let's dig deeper into sudden stratospheric warming, or SSW. It's a rapid temperature jump, up to 50 degrees C in the stratosphere over the poles. This isn't caused by the sun, but by powerful planetary waves created as air flows over mountains and between land and ocean. Sometimes, these waves break in the stratosphere, releasing energy that disrupts the polar vortex. The vortex slows, compresses, and heats up, like air in a bike pump. SSWs happen about 6 times a decade, not every winter, but not rare. The warming itself is just the trigger. The real impact comes weeks later. The disruption works its way down, eventually changing our weather. SSW is the first domino in a chain reaction that can reshape winter. It's not the warming we feel, but the chaos it sets in motion. That's why meteorologists watch for SSW so closely. The link between SSW and surface cold is a slow domino effect. First, SSW weakens the polar vortex high above. The vortex wobbles or splits, but at first we don't notice much on the ground. Over weeks, the disruption drips down through the atmosphere, changing wind patterns. Eventually it reaches the jet stream, making it weak and wavy. This opens the gates for Arctic air to plunge south. The result, plunging temperatures, more snow, and persistent cold that can last for weeks. One SSW can shape weather for up to 2 months. An event in December or January can mean a frigid February and a chilly March. The impact is delayed but powerful. SSW sets the stage for a winter that lingers. That's why it matters so much. When the jet stream dips over the US, Arctic air funnels into the Midwest, Northeast, and even the South. This means higher chances of long cold snaps and more snow, especially after an SSW. The clash of cold and moist air creates a recipe for winter storms and nor'easters. Cities like Chicago, New York, and Boston could see major snow, while even Atlanta or Nashville might get unusual ice. Meanwhile, the West often sits under a ridge, bringing mild, dry weather. This can worsen drought and reduce vital mountain snowpack. So, SSW doesn't mean the whole country freezes. It splits the nation in two. The East braces for cold and storms, the West for warmth and dryness. This East-West divide is classic after a weakened polar vortex. It's the pattern to watch as winter unfolds. In Canada, a disrupted polar vortex means the cold gets even more intense. Frigid Arctic air spills south, bringing a coast-to-coast deep freeze. The coldest air settles over the prairies to Ontario and Quebec, with temperatures plunging to -30 degrees or lower. These aren't quick cold snaps. They can last a week or more, straining power grids and transport. Major cities like Toronto and Montreal face heavy snow, especially from lake-effect storms. The Atlantic provinces get battered by intense winter storms, mixing snow, ice, and wind. Even British Columbia can see rare Arctic outflows, bringing cold and snow to usually mild areas. A weak polar vortex means all of Canada should brace for a tougher winter. The deep freeze can hit anywhere, from Vancouver to St. John's. Preparation is key for a season like this. In Europe, SSW can flip the usual mild damp winter on its head. A Greenland block can stop Atlantic air, forcing cold winds from Siberia westward. This beast from the east brings persistent cold and snow to the UK, France, Germany, and beyond. The UK and Ireland, usually protected by the ocean, can see disruptive snow and unusual cold. Eastern Britain gets heavy sea effect snow as Siberian air picks up moisture over the North Sea. We saw this in 2018 when SSW led to record cold and chaos across Europe. Further east, Germany, Poland, and Scandinavia get even harsher cold and snow. The key is the reversal of wind patterns. When easterlies take over, winter gets serious. A weakened polar vortex means Europe should expect a long, cold, and snowy spell. Watch for the Greenland block. It's the signal of Arctic air on the move. As of November 11, 2025, here's how a sudden stratospheric warming, or SSW, could shape the coming winter months across the northern hemisphere. This rare atmospheric event can dramatically alter weather patterns, so let's break down what to expect, month by month. November starts off normal, with the stratosphere just beginning to warm. Most regions will see typical late autumn conditions. Think chilly mornings, but afternoons that can still feel mild. Most people won't feel the effects of SSW just yet. Expect a familiar mix of mild and cold days, with only subtle hints that winter is on the way. Occasional frosts may appear, but nothing out of the ordinary for this time of year. December, however, could bring the first big changes. As the stratosphere continues to warm, the atmosphere starts to respond. If an SSW event hits, late December may see the jet stream buckle, sending Arctic air plunging much farther south than usual. This shift can trigger early winter storms and sudden temperature drops. This could mean a cold, snowy holiday season for many in North America and Europe. Festive scenes may be set against a backdrop of fresh snow and icy winds, making travel and celebrations more challenging. January is when SSW's impact typically peaks. Expect long, persistent cold snaps, major snowstorms, and tough travel conditions. Cities may see repeated rounds of snow and ice, with some areas experiencing blizzard conditions. The jet stream's wild, meandering pattern fuels both deep freezes and powerful winter systems. This can lead to dramatic temperature swings and intense weather events, sometimes with little warning. February often continues the trend, delivering some of the coldest, snowiest weather of the entire season. Prolonged cold spells and heavy snowfalls are common, especially in regions already hit hard in January. The atmosphere's memory can lock in these patterns for weeks, keeping winter's grip tight and unrelenting. Even as days slowly lengthen, the cold can linger. Sometimes a final stratospheric event brings a stormy, dramatic end to winter, with one last blast of snow and wind before spring arrives. So, this winter may start slow but could finish with a powerful cold punch, all thanks to that stratospheric warm-up. Stay prepared for surprises as the season unfolds.